Welcome, everyone. And I'm going to take you up to the northeast corner of Indiana to the Lakes region and share with you how we enjoy some of the preserves up here. This is where my wife and I maintain our primary home when we're not in Indianapolis these days. And we're going to take you to Oppenheim Woods. It's a nature preserve in Kosciuszko County that was donated to us by Pat and Jay Oppenheim. And it was a preserve that was donated to us in 2010. It's a wonderful place. I love it. It's about a 1 mile hike, which seems to fit me really well these days, especially in the wintertime. I know it fits my wife well because she doesn't like the cold that much. And we actually went out and enjoyed this preserve a little over a week ago. And so many of these photos are pretty new here. This has a really nice parking lot and a sign there that you can see, and then the boot brush as you enter into the trail and then ultimately leave the trail as well. That's also handy this time of the year because the trails can be muddy. And so that boot brush does come into handy, I know, for a lot of our visitors and all. What I do want to mix in here with my story about how we enjoy nature, and it's typically always with my wife if I'm not working and all, is we enjoy the local communities across Indiana. And we like to get to know the small towns and the little restaurants and the antique shops and things like that are scattered across our state, and really try to interact with people there. Oppenheim Woods is noted for its large trees. It's just some beautiful large trees. This one on the right is a sugar maple tree. Most people would not recognize that by the bark because this is an old sugar maple that has the bark that has become really peeled off and things like that. It's a very healthy tree, it seems. I mentioned my usual partner is my wife here walking on the trail, and then our daughter, Maria, joined us as well. This is a really easy trail to walk. There's not many steep places or risky places in it or anything like that. I mentioned the communities that we visit and things like that. And I love our rural Indiana small towns. I love the diverse cultures that you actually find. Many people wouldn't believe that, but when you get into the lake region up here, it's very diverse. You have the locals that live in these communities, and then you have what us locals call the Lakers that come in from Chicago or Indianapolis or Fort Wayne for their homes on the lakes and things. And you also have some diverse cultures up here in this part of the state where you have the Mennonite community and the Amish community mixed in. You have English farmers, both large and small farmers up here. So it makes for an interesting and sort of rich community that we have here. And again, it's not just limited to the Lakes region, it's all across Indiana. And so we enjoy sort of becoming a part of those communities in a small way when we visit these preserves and get to know people. Of course, this is me. I'm standing next to a big tulip tree on the left here. And if you could sort of picture this, my hands there are probably about 4 feet apart. So you can get an idea of the size of that tulip tree. And then you can see the darker barked tree there, which is a black cherry, and how large that tree is. That's one of the largest and healthiest black cherry trees I had seen for quite some time when I found that in the woods that day. And you'll note as I talk about hiking in the winter, and I actually use them now year round. I like hiking with poles now. I like the extra stability they provide, and they're well worth the money to spend and just have that security. Also helps you roll over a leaf or different things like that if you want to, or push some brush out of the way if you need to. Yeah, we love the vigorous hiking on the trails. And the 1 mile hike like this, we were getting ready to go to a family dinner. And so it sort of gave us a little bit of freedom to really enjoy the dinner because we'd gotten this nice quick walk in and all. And this time of the year, I love to hike in a woods. I like to hike when there's snow as well. This time of the year, of course, it's sort of noisy when you're hiking, which is fun, but it also allows you to hear a lot of animals in the distance, be it a deer or something like that rustling through the woods. And we really have enjoyed being out in this time of the year. And I really enjoy seeing trees. And so I can see the forest much better at this point in the year. And yet you still see a lot of colors here, as you see in this picture on the ground. My forester friends always tell me, Larry, quit looking down when you're in a forest and start looking up. And it's true. There is a lot up above your line of sight when you're typically walking along and making sure you're not tripping over something. But again, the crowns of these trees in the wintertime and the late fall like this here, you can really start to see the structure of them. And it makes you realize that of all the trees on earth, not one's the same. Not one is the same with the same exact branching and structure of the twigs and the main stem and the branches and everything. And so they truly are unique. I had an old friend that was an architect that used to tell me that they used to get a lot of ideas by simply looking at the structure of the branching of trees and things like that on how they design things. And there's also great things on the floor, of course. And you see this log here with lots of fungus growing on it and still some green on the forest floor along with the trees. And it's just a beautiful time of the year to be out. I want to challenge all of you right now to start listing some of your favorite restaurants when you go visit preserves, because this is what I want to talk a little bit about now is these communities. We feel like when we go to a preserve and walk in it, we need to do something also in that local community and to get to know it, maybe spend a few dollars and things like that. In this case, this preserve is right in between North Webster, Indiana, and Syracuse. And of course, both those towns have beautiful lakes and many local restaurants and things like that. But this day for us, we were heading to Middlebury to go to the Essen House restaurant. And so if you've been there, that's a great restaurant. And again, I want to start seeing you list some of the restaurants that you like to go. In Middlebury, you start to get the edge of sort of the Amish and Mennonite community there. And certainly if you go just a little bit further east is one of my favorite towns in Indiana, Shipshewana. And I got the privilege of working in that community for 3 years before I came to the Nature Conservancy 3 decades ago, believe it or not. But there you can really get deeply immersed in Amish and Mennonite culture, several antique stores there. We love the Blue Gate restaurant in Shipshewana, and we love the Wana Cup. The Wana Cup is a little place where you go in and sit down, and guaranteed you're going to be sitting down amongst the local people. And I've always found them to be very friendly and willing to strike up a conversation and share with you. That's a great place. As you go further into the lake region, I love Adams Lake Pub. That's a great place for a meal. My wife and I love Wall Lake Tavern. We love Chubby's Fish and Steaks in Orland, Indiana. And then the Harvest House in Hamilton, Indiana, near Douglas Woods is a great place. Every town seems to have these great little restaurants, great antique stores where we get to learn even more about the history of those towns, typically from many decades ago. And also, I want to end with that and sort of challenge you as you go out hiking, whether it's spring, summer, fall, or winter, to recognize that these preserves are part of these local communities. And I think it's great if you go in there, enjoy the preserve, but go enjoy these communities. And let those people know that you might talk to in the restaurant or wherever you might end up that you were visiting a TNC nature preserve. And you appreciate their store being open and you encourage them to go out and enjoy this property is all. And I'll close lastly. This was along the trail as we were wrapping up our hike last week. Is this big pile of trees there. A great big tree had blown over the trail. And I want to recognize our field stewards who work out there to make sure these trails stay open for people. That's hard to go out there when you're working by yourself with a chainsaw and try to move those great big chunks of wood, but they do it. So all of us can go out and enjoy these and not have these obstacles in our way. Thank you.